Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The transitional period before and after every millennium, which are a few hundred years, as aforementioned, are known as Yuga Sandhya, or conjunctions of two millenniums, according to the expert astronomers. In those periods, all kinds of religious activities are performed. O Vidura, in the Satya millennium, mankind properly and completely maintained the principles of religion. But in the other millennium, religion gradually decreased by one part as irreligion was proportionately admitted. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Satya millennium, complete execution of religious principles prevailed. Gradually, the principles of religion decreased by one part in each of the subsequent millennium. In other words, at present, there is one part religion and three parts irreligion. Therefore, people in this age are not very happy. So generally, people ask, why so many people are dissatisfied and unhappy in this modern age? And Prabhupada is very nicely explaining the most important principal reason behind it. As irreligion increases and religion will decrease, people will not be happy and satisfied. Anybody would like to quote that verse from Bhagavatam where it explains that the soul can be completely satisfied only by devotional service? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje. Then ahitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. So it's a fact that the moment the society becomes disconnected from the Supreme Lord, the moment it is not connected, it will be just like a dry branch. It may look like a branch, but actually it will dry up eventually. So this is the position of this age of Kali. So as a devotees, if we understand these intricacies, it becomes very easy for us to understand the cause of despondency in the whole world. Because until and unless we understand why people are unhappy, then why we will propagate Krishna consciousness if we don't understand the value of it? So, this is the essence of this verse, that proportionately as the time, millennium passed by, dharma started decreasing, and that is the cause of unhappiness all over the world. So, there is a very beautiful description given in Bhagavatam that when Lord Krishna similarly disappeared from this earth, winding off his pastime, Maharaj Yudhishthir actually started perceiving the different kinds of ill omen He was able to perceive. Like Prabhupada gives a list. There were seasonal disruption. We find that actually, generally, all seasons are in cycle. But when they start overlapping each other, just like now we find it's not a time of raining. Suddenly we find it starts raining. Isn't it? Just 2 days back when I was in Vrindavan and it was raining heavily, so the driver was saying, Prabhu ji, सारी फसल खराब हो गई, नुकसान हो गया किसानों का तो. So he was telling, this is Kali Yuga, disruption in season also. Otherwise, generally, it will be after summer season. When the summer season has started and after that, then we find rainy season. Winter has just gone and suddenly it starts raining. It's a disruption in seasons. And then, Prabhupada says, the modes of tamoguna and rajoguna, the effect of that increases. Maharaj Yudhishthir was able to see that people have become more greedy. They have become more angry, deceitful, and they are adopting foul means of livelihood. So before that, these were all unknown. Seasons were in time, and people were calm and honest and happy. But then he started observing that these signs are increasing now. So Prabhupada explains why there is greed in the society. Anyone would like to? Many reasons may be there, but Prabhupada points out a very important reason. Anyone could just try to find out what could be the reason. Why so much greed? Today we find, right? Mad after money. People are mad after money. Yeah, influence is there, no doubt. Bad association, yes, good reason. Have increased, tamoguna and rajoguna have increased. Material desires have increased. Yes. People are trying to enjoy life. Okay. So Prabhupada explains the most important reason is lack of spiritual understanding. Isn't it? Ignorance. They have taken this small life as all in all. They're not able to understand life is eternal. They're thinking, ये एक जीवन है, मजे कर लो बस, है ना? They're thinking like this. That is why you find that Charvak Muni's theory. Moment a person thinks that life is temporary, there is no eternal life, immediately he says, Rinam kritva ghritam pibet yavat jivet sukham jivet. See? Just enjoy your life. Beg, borrow, steal, does not matter. Enjoy your life. Because who has seen next life? So lack of this understanding about spiritual life, about spirit soul, has led to this rampant greed in the society. इसलिए डोनेशन भी नहीं आता है मंदिर के लिए, बड़ा मुश्किल है. 10 साल से मंदिर हम लोग बना रहे हैं. Isn't it very difficult we find? Because for sense gratification, they will spend. But otherwise, very difficult. So, the more we educate people in spiritual science, the more this effect of Rajoguna and Tamoguna will decrease. Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye chete eter anavidham stitham sattve prasidati. Nityam bhagavata sevaya. So this is what we have to do. If we want these symptoms of age of Kali should decrease, this greed and all these things, if they have to decrease, then we have to propagate Krishna consciousness. We have to educate people in spiritual techniques. That is very important. Then he saw another thing which was not common. Now he saw in all dealings, in all transactions, cheating propensity, which is one of the, defects of conditioned soul. It becomes very, very prominent in this age of Kali. Cheating propensity is always there in the conditioned soul. But in this age of Kali, it becomes very prominent in all transactions. So Bhagavatam explains, he saw cheating between friends, family, misunderstanding between father, mother, sons, brothers, all very common, right? When you go out for preaching, you will be able to observe all these things. Two brothers, fighting for property, misunderstanding between parents and children, and then even between husband and wife, misunderstanding, quarrels, and strained relationships. This is the age of Kali Yuga. Maharaj Yudhishthir was able to observe all these things. Now actually it was time for him to retire. He was a Kshatriya and he wanted to set proper principles of Kshatriya. Administration should be done as per the Vedic understanding. Not that whole life I will sit in administration. When there is a time to retire and completely dedicate oneself, this is what then finally he decided. That yes, now grandson is ready, Parikshit, he will take care. And Maharaj Yudhishthir and all the Pandavas retired. That is the chapter. Pandavas retire timely. Then Maharaj Parikshit, he also started observing this signs of Kali penetrating in his kingdom. And he was waiting for this opportunity. Because Kshatriya is always waiting for an opportunity to fight for proper cause. That is the meaning of Kshatriya. Prabhupada says, just like a sportsman, he is waiting for an opportunity for sports. So similarly, Maharaj Parikshit was waiting. And when he saw, he wanted to root out the cause of this. And he was able to understand that actually these 4 principles of irreligion, meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication and gambling, they are penetrating, and because of them, the symptoms of Kali Yugas have appeared. These are the pillars of irreligion. They have to be rooted out, and pillars of religion, austerity, kindness, all these important principles, they have to be established. So, Prabhupada in that purport very nicely points out something very interesting. Anybody remembers? Prabhupada says, somebody may say that these symptoms are predestined. Because age of Kali, it is predestined, no? Kali Yuga, Kalaha, age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So this is predestined, anyway it has to come. Maharaj Parikshit did not think it is predestined, so let it come, let it overtake people. Anyway it is predestined. No. In the spirit of Kshatriya, immediately he wanted to wipe out even the trace of irreligion from his kingdom. You see. So, Prabhupada gives an example. These arguments are given by lazy and unfortunate people. And then Prabhupada says, in the rainy season, rain is predestined. It is going to come. But still people take precaution to protect themselves from rain. Isn't it? People will take umbrellas, you will find umbrella sales will go up. Raincoats sales will go up. Because people take precaution. So similarly, we cannot sit idly. We have to take inspiration from Maharaj Parikshit. He did not sit idly. Retirement was for Maharaj Yudhishthir. Because that was his age. It's already. Now it was time to take up. The responsibilities were taken up by Maharaj Parikshit. He did not retire. Or he did not sit idly thinking that, aa raha hai Kali Yug, jaane do. Isn't it? Immediately, he took his horse and started going out to root out all the elements of irreligion. There, Prabhupada points out the best method to root out irreligion, as it is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, is that just after the disappearance of the Lord, when Kali started infiltrating, immediately Srimad Bhagavatam rose like a sun. Isn't it? To dissipate the darkness of age of Kali. To give the misguided people of Kali Yuga a chance to completely eradicate their ignorance. So, devotional service and especially Srimad Bhagavatam, teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam can completely eradicate this ignorance in the people, and then we can be protected. Prabhupada gives a very beautiful description that how when Parikshit Maharaj started traveling, there was a bull, there was a cow. What is bull representative of? Dharma. Cow was representing earth, yes. And when both of them are joyful, people also will be happy. And the moment they are in distressed condition, if dharma is in distressed condition, and if his earth is overburdened, people will not be happy. See? Moment there is asuric population, earth gets overburdened. And when dharma, represented by bull, so if bull and cow are happy, Prabhupada says we can get miracle food from the cows. And bull helps us in whatever we require, economic development. So if both of them are there, society will be prosperous and people will be happy. You're all great sages actually. I was talking with Purna Chandra Prabhu that even after taking full meal prasadam, if you are still awake in the class, you are all great sages. If I would take, I'll be dozing off. Isn't it? So, so if bull and cow are taken care of, then the whole population, whole society can be actually prosperous and happy. Why this is missing? Why bull and cows are not being taken care of? One very important, significant, most important reason Prabhupada gives. Anyone? See, all these are important things. When you read, no, you should read very carefully. Prabhupada books are very, very, every word is filled with his realizations. It is not ordinary books. So when you read, you should read with a lot of respect, with a lot of attention. What is the one important reason Prabhupada gives? Why bulls and cows are not taken care of in Kali Yuga? Very good. Who is that? Please raise your hand. Haribo. So, Brahminical culture, the moment it is lost, this will be the first sign. Shudras. When everything is run by Shudras. No importance of cow, no importance of bull, and no importance for Brahmanas, no importance for protection of women, old people, everything will be gone. So Brahminical principle is finished. And Prabhupada says one of the very important contribution of Krishna conscious society is to reintroduce this Brahminical principle. At least few percentage of the population should be Brahmanas. If not cent percent. Cent percent does not matter, we can guide them. But at least those who are following the principles of Krishna consciousness, they should come to the standard of Brahminical principles. Then it will be possible that yes, cows, bulls, everybody will be safe. So, Dharma asks this question, one of the very important question which Dharma asks to cow, that why it is in so much distressed condition of life. Many other reason he asks. One of the reason he asks is, are you in anxiety because earlier I was standing on 4 legs Now my 3 legs are gone and I am only standing on 1 leg. So this is a fact. As it is mentioned in today's verse also, 75% of religious principles are finished in this age of Kali. Or practically, Prabhupada says, when 75% of population becomes irreligious, it becomes hell for cows and bulls. We are seeing this situation, slaughterhouses. What is the situation? And then we are seeing all kinds of suffering. People are not happy, isn't it? So, this one very interesting solution Prabhupada gives. Of course, we cannot expect government, even though this is actually meant for government to implement. But at least from our side, we can try in whatever best way to reintroduce these principles in the society. Just few of them I will just read. It is 17th chapter in first canto, and it is 38th verse. Okay, I'll just read few portion of that. Following in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit, it is the duty of executive heads of the state. So actually, this is the duty because Parikshit Maharaj was the executive head at that time. So now it is very difficult, but at least we can try to educate people from our side. To see that principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, truthfulness, these are the 4 principles of religion, are established in the state. And the principle of irreligion, pride, illicit female association or prostitution, intoxication and falsity are checked by all means. And to make the best use of bad bargain, the personality of Kali may be transferred to places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, slaughterhouses, if there are any places like that. Those who are addicted to these irreligious habits may be regulated by the injunctions of scriptures. In no circumstances should they be encouraged by any state. In other words, the state should categorically stop all sorts of gambling, drinking, prostitution and falsity. This is the first step the executive head has to take. No illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, and what is the other one? No meat eating. And if at all it is allowed, it should be regulated as per the scriptures, as regulation is given. Because there will be always such kind of people will always be there. And then Prabhupada says, the state which wants to eradicate corruption by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. You see? Number 1. Anybody remembers? 2 compulsory fasting. Ekadashi, yes. If not more, even from economic point of view, such 2 fasting days in a month, the state will save tons of food. You see. And the system will also act very favorably on the general health of citizens. Isn't it? So this is one. Then Prabhupada says, must be compulsory marriage of young boys and girls attaining 24 years of age, 16 years of age, respectively. No harm in coeducation in schools and colleges, provided boys and girls are duly married. And in case there is any intimate connection between a male and female student, they should be married properly without illicit relation. Divorce, which is encouraging prostitution, should be abolished. Third, citizens of the state must give in charity up to 50% of their income for the purpose of creating a spiritual atmosphere in the state or in human society, both individually and collectively. They should preach. So this is how, see actually what Prabhupada wanted. We have to encourage people in all these practices. They should preach the principles of Bhagavatam. How people should preach, see, very nicely Prabhupada is mentioning. A, Karma Yoga, or doing everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. So when we go out to people, we have to encourage people to do Yagna Arthat Karmano Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhanaha. We have to educate them that if you are acting only for sense gratification, actually we are binding ourselves. We have to do our work as a service to the Supreme Lord, as a sacrifice to the Supreme Lord. B, regular hearing of Bhagavatam from authorized persons or realized souls. So, A was doing their work, Karma Yoga, according to satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. B, regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from authorized sources. C, chanting of the glories of the Lord congregationally at home or at places of worship. D, rendering all kinds of service to Bhagavatas engaged in preaching Srimad Bhagavatam. E, residing in a place where the atmosphere is saturated with God consciousness. If the state is regulated by the above process, naturally there will be God consciousness everywhere. So, very beautifully Prabhupada describes about how even though in this age of Kali Yuga, as it is mentioned in today's verse, it is predestined that religion will come down and only 1/4 of religion will remain. Otherwise, 3/4 is practically vanquished. But still, we should not become lazy, as Prabhupada says, and we should not be unfortunate to think that no, anyway it is predestined what I have to do. So just like Prabhupada gives the example that even though rainy season is predestined, still people take precaution and they carry on with their works, with their duties. So similarly, even though the age of Kali is predestined, even though irreligion will rise, but if somehow or other we understand that we can create a golden period, which is also there as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted, then definitely the whole world will become peaceful in Krishna consciousness. We'll stop with this. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.